The message came on a cold morning in November. Every screen on Earth flickered at once. Every radio went silent. And then the voice spoke. It was not human. The words were translated by machines, but the meaning was clear. Species 7421. You have been evaluated. You have been found unworthy. Your world is now property of the galactic hierarchy. Resistance will result in extinction. You have 90 cycles to accept your place. Admiral Chen Wei stood in the command center of the United Earth Defense Force. She was 62 years old. She had fought in 3 wars. She had never lost. And she was not about to start now. They call us a number, she said quietly. They don't even use our name. General Marcus Stone stood beside her. His arms were crossed. His jaw was tight. They've done this to 800 species. Every single one surrendered. Every single one became slaves. Chung nodded slowly. Then we will be the first to say no. The hierarchy had ruled the galaxy for 40,000 years. They were a collection of the oldest and most powerful species. At the top sat the Vorthal, beings of pure energy who had evolved beyond physical form. Below them were the Krishan, a warrior race with ships made of living metal. Then came the Selvari, masters of genetic engineering who could reshape entire ecosystems. And at the bottom were the conquered races, the slaves, the workers, the forgotten. Humanity was supposed to join them at the bottom, but humanity had a problem. They did not know how to surrender. In the 90 days given to them, humans did not prepare to submit. They prepared to fight. Every factory on Earth shifted to war production. Every scientist worked without sleep. Every soldier trained until they could not stand, and then trained more. Chun Wei looked at the reports coming in. 12 new orbital stations were being built. The shipyards on Mars were producing destroyers at 3 times the normal rate. The mining operations on the asteroid belt were now weapons factories. It won't be enough, Stone said. Their smallest patrol fleet has more ships than our entire navy. Chun smiled. It was not a kind smile. Then, we will have to be smarter than them. The first contact came on day 89. A hierarchy scout ship appeared at the edge of the solar system. It was the size of a small moon. Its hull was covered in weapons that humans could not even name. It sent a simple message. We are here to observe your surrender. Captain James Okonkwo commanded the defense station nearest to the scout. He was 34 years old. He had a wife and 2 daughters back on Earth. He looked at the massive alien ship on his screen and thought about what would happen if he failed. Then he opened a channel. This is Captain Okonkwo of the United Earth Defense Force. We have received your message. Here is our response. He pressed a button. 20 nuclear missiles launched from hidden platforms across the outer planets. They were not aimed at the scout ship. They were aimed at the space around it, creating a wall of radiation and debris. The scout ship's shields flickered. What is this? The alien voice demanded. This is not surrender. No, Okonkwo replied. It is not. The scout ship fired its main weapon. A beam of pure plasma cut through space toward the defense station. Okonkwo closed his eyes. He thought of his daughters. But the beam never hit. A new ship appeared between them. It was smaller than the scout. Its hull was black and covered in strange symbols. It absorbed the plasma beam like water into sand. This is Admiral Chun Wei of the Imperial fleet, a voice said over all channels. You are in human space. You are not welcome here. Leave now, or we will remove you. The hierarchy scout did not leave. It fired again. This time, the human ship fired back. No one in the galaxy had seen anything like the weapon that humans had created. It did not fire plasma or lasers or missiles. It fired gravity itself. A concentrated beam of gravitational force struck the scout ship and crushed a section of its hull like paper. The scout ship turned and ran. Word spread through the hierarchy like fire. Species 7421 had fought back. Species 7421 had won. The High Council of the Hierarchy met on the throne world. The Vorthal flickered with anger. The Christian demanded blood. The Silvari advised caution. "They are insects," the lead Vorthal said. "Send the Third Fleet. Crush them completely." The Third Fleet was legendary. It had conquered 1,000 worlds. It had never known defeat. It contained 300 capital ships, each one capable of destroying planets. It began its journey to Earth. Admiral Chen Wei received the news with calm acceptance. She had expected this. She had planned for this. "How long?" she asked. 40 days, Stone replied. "Then we have 40 days to prepare the welcome." Humanity worked. They built. They planned. Every day brought new ships, new weapons, new ideas. The Imperial fleet grew from 50 ships to 200, then to 500, then to 800. But the Third Fleet had 300 capital ships. Each one was worth 10 of humanity's best. On the 39th day, Chen Wei gathered her commanders. "We cannot match their numbers," she said. "We cannot match their technology. We cannot match their experience. But we have something they do not have." "What is that?" Captain Okonkwo asked. "We have nothing to lose. They fight to maintain their power. We fight for our very existence. There is no force in the universe more dangerous than a species fighting for survival." The Third Fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system. It filled the sky like a cloud of death. The alien commander, a Christian warrior named Vector, sent his message. "Species 7421, this is your final chance. Surrender now, and we will only enslave half your population. Resist, and we will kill every last one of you." Chen Wei's response was not words. It was action. From behind every moon, every asteroid, every piece of space debris, human ships emerged. They were not alone. Alongside the warships were converted cargo vessels, mining ships, even civilian transports. Every ship that could hold a weapon had been armed. "All ships," Chen Wei said. "Attack." The battle for Earth began. Human ships swarmed the hierarchy fleet like bees attacking a bear. They were smaller. They were weaker. They were outnumbered. But they fought with a fury that the hierarchy had never seen. The gravity weapons tore through shields that had held for centuries. The nuclear missiles created walls of fire that blinded sensors. The human pilots flew into the smallest gaps between enemy ships and fired from angles that should have been impossible. Vector watched in shock as 3 of his capital ships exploded. "What are these creatures?" he demanded. "What are they doing?" His tactical officer had no answer. The humans were not fighting like any species he had ever seen. They were not trying to disable his ships. They were not trying to capture them. They were trying to destroy them completely, even if it cost them their own lives. A human frigate rammed directly into the engine of a Christian battlecruiser. Both ships exploded. The human captain had time to send one final message. For Earth, more human ships followed. They crashed into enemy vessels. They detonated their reactors inside enemy hangars. They sacrificed themselves to create openings for their comrades. The Third Fleet began to retreat. "No," Vector roared. "We cannot lose to insects." He ordered his flagship forward. It was the largest ship in the fleet, a mobile fortress with weapons capable of cracking continents. It began charging its planet killer beam. Chen Wei saw what was happening. She knew what she had to do. "All ships, focus fire on the flagship. Everything you have." The Imperial fleet turned as one. Every weapon, every missile, every beam of gravity-crushing force aimed at a single target. The flagship's shields held. Barely. "Fire the planet killer," Victor commanded. The beam began to form. A ball of pure destruction that would turn Earth into a dead rock. Chen Wei's ship was closest. She had one weapon left. A new design. Untested. Possibly unstable. "Admiral," Stone said over the com, "that weapon could destroy your ship." "I know," Chun said. She activated the firing sequence. Tell my husband I love him, the weapon fired. It was not gravity this time. It was something else. Something humans had found in the ruins of an ancient civilization on Mars. Something the hierarchy had forbidden anyone from using. A tear in space itself. The beam struck the flagship and reality broke around it. The ship was pulled into the tier, stretched across dimensions, and then simply ceased to exist. Chen Wei's ship was caught in the edge of the effect. Half of it vanished into the tier before the weapon shut down. She survived. Barely. The remaining hierarchy ships fled. The third fleet, which had never known defeat, had been broken. News of the battle reached every corner of the galaxy. The slave races heard what had happened. Species 7421. The insects, the primitives, the ones who were supposed to bow and serve, had done the impossible. They had won. Rebellions began. On 100 worlds, slave races rose against their masters. They chanted a new name. Not Species 7421, a name the humans had chosen for themselves. Humanity. The hierarchy responded with force, but they were stretched thin. The third fleet was gone. The fourth fleet was fighting rebels in the Outer Rim. The fifth fleet was maintaining order in the core worlds. And humanity was not done. The Imperial fleet grew. More ships, more weapons, more soldiers ready to fight and die for their people. They pushed outward, liberating worlds, freeing slaves, gathering allies. Within 1 year, humanity had carved out a sphere of influence 50 light years wide. Within 5 years, they had become a recognized power. Within 10 years, they sat on the Galactic Council as equals. The Vorthal looked down at the human representative with ancient, cold energy. You are nothing, the lead Vorthal said. You should have been slaves. Ambassador Sarah Chun, daughter of the great admiral, smiled. Perhaps. But you made a mistake. What mistake? You looked down on us. You saw a young species with primitive technology and assumed we were weak. You forgot that strength is not about age or power. It is about will. And there is no species in this galaxy with more will than humanity. The Vorthal was silent. My mother broke your unbeatable fleet with converted cargo ships and a weapon that should not have worked. My people have built an empire from nothing in less than a generation. And we are just getting started. She stood and walked toward the door. The hierarchy looked down on us. The Imperial fleet brought them down. Remember that. The next time you think about threatening my people. She left the council chamber. The Vorthal watched her go. For the first time in 40,000 years, they felt something they had never experienced before. Fear. Because humanity was right. They were just getting started. And the galaxy would never be the same.